Welcome back, everyone, to English Podcast for You, your friendly, cozy corner of YouTube where we practice natural English through real, everyday conversations. I'm Leo.
And I'm Lily. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're walking the dog, commuting to work, washing the dishes, or just relaxing with a warm cup of coffee, we're so glad you're here.
Truly, listening to real conversational English is one of the most powerful ways to build your vocabulary, understand natural speech rhythms, and train your ears. Even on days when you feel like your speaking isn't progressing, trust us, your brain is soaking up every single sentence quietly.
That's right. So take a deep breath, relax, and just follow along. And hey, before we dive into today's topic, leave a quick comment down below telling us where in the world you are listening from today. We love seeing our global community in the comments.
Speaking of real life, Lily, before we reveal today's main topic, can I ask you a personal question?
Uh-oh, you have that mischievous smile on your face, Leo. What did you do?
Yesterday evening at around 6:45 p.m., I was sitting on my couch in my softest pajamas. I had just poured a nice, warm bowl of soup. I was officially off the clock. My brain was in full relaxation mode.
Okay, 6:45 p.m. Sounds like a peaceful evening.
Suddenly, my phone started buzzing on the coffee table, loudly.
Oh no, was it a family member? An emergency?
Nope. It was my team manager, Greg.
At almost 7 p.m.?
Yes, and do you know what my immediate reaction was? Before I even picked up, my heart started pounding, my stomach dropped. I stared at the phone screen for 10 seconds, panicking, and then I picked it up with this fake, cheerful voice and said, "Hi, Greg, sure, no problem at all. I can check that spreadsheet right now."
Oh, Leo, the classic fake enthusiasm voice. Why do we do that to ourselves?
Exactly. I spent the next 40 minutes analyzing numbers on my laptop while my soup got completely cold. And afterward, I felt so frustrated, not just at Greg, but at myself. Why couldn't I just say, "Hey, Greg, I'm off the clock. Let's talk tomorrow morning"?
Because saying no to people, especially at work, takes serious courage. And that brings us directly into today's core topic. Today, we are talking about confidence building, specifically how setting healthy office boundaries and protecting your work-life balance is actually the ultimate test of self-confidence.
It really is a test of confidence, isn't it? Because on paper, it sounds so simple. No work calls after 6. Easy. But in reality, when your phone rings after hours, your brain starts whispering all these scary thoughts.
Oh, absolutely. Your mind immediately goes to worst-case scenarios, like if I don't answer, they'll think I'm lazy, or what if my boss gets angry and fires me, or what if this is one of those extremely urgent matters.
Yes, urgent matters. That's the phrase people always use to justify invading your personal time. But Lily, let's be honest for a second. How many work calls after 6 p.m. are actually genuine life or death emergencies?
Almost zero. Unless you work in an emergency room or pilot airplanes for a living, most work emergencies are just someone else's poor planning.
That is so true. Leo, where is the blue folder? Is not a national emergency, Greg. It can wait until 9 a.m. tomorrow.
But here's the deeper question, Leo. Why do so many people lack the confidence to set clear boundaries at work? Why are we so afraid of letting down our coworkers or supervisors?
I think a lot of it comes down to seeking approval. Deep down, many of us want to be seen as the reliable one, the hard worker, or the person who is always available to save the day.
Exactly. We confuse being available with being valuable. We think if I'm always available, people will value me more. But actually, the opposite happens. When you are available 24/7, people stop respecting your time because you don't respect your own time.
Wow. Say that again, Lily. That hit me right in the heart.
When you don't set clear boundaries, you're sending a quiet message to the world. My personal time doesn't matter. My rest isn't important. And true confidence begins the moment you decide that your peace of mind is just as important as your job.
You know, when I look back at my earlier career, I used to pride myself on checking emails at 11 p.m. in bed. I thought I was being so dedicated. But looking back, I was constantly exhausted, irritable, and anxious.
You were burning the candle at both ends, as the saying goes.
Exactly. Burning the candle at both ends. Working late, waking up early, never taking time to properly reset. And what happens when you do that? You burn out. You become resentful towards your job, your colleagues, and even your loved ones.
Resentment is a huge warning sign. When you start feeling angry every time a colleague's name pops up on your screen, that's not just work stress. That's your mind telling you that your personal boundaries have been completely crossed.
So, how do we fix this? How do we transition from being a quiet people pleaser who answers calls at 9 p.m. to a confident professional who protects their personal time politely?
It starts with changing how we view the word boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out or push people away. Boundaries are clear guidelines that teach people how to treat you.
Guidelines on how to treat you. I like that phrasing.
Right. It's about being intentional. When you leave the office at 6 p.m., you make an intentional choice to switch off your work brain and enter your personal life. You are off the clock.
Off the clock. I love that phrase. It sounds so official and satisfying. Sorry, I'm officially off the clock.
It really is. But Leo, let's get practical for our listeners. How do you actually say no to a coworker or boss without sounding rude, lazy, or aggressive? Because language is key here.
Oh, I have been practicing this recently. The key is to be firm, warm, and solution-oriented. You don't have to apologize excessively.
Yes, stop starting every boundary sentence with "I'm so sorry." You don't need to apologize for having a life after 6 p.m.
Exactly. Instead of saying, "I'm so sorry to bother you, but I'm eating dinner right now," you can say something polite and calm like, "Hi, Greg. I've stepped away from my desk for the evening. I'll make this my top priority first thing tomorrow at 9 a.m."
Ooh, that is smooth, professional, and confident. Let's break that down for our English learners tuning in right now. 1, you acknowledge the message politely. 2, you clearly state your status. I've stepped away for the evening. 3, you offer a clear commitment for the next day. Top priority tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Right. It reassures the other person that you care about the task, but it clearly communicates that your work hours for today are finished.
What if someone sends a text asking, "Is this an urgent matter?" How do you handle that?
You can simply ask, "Unless this is an urgent matter that requires immediate attention tonight, I will review it thoroughly first thing in the morning." 99% of the time, they will reply, "No worries, tomorrow is fine."
Because when you force them to define whether it's actually an urgent matter, they realize it can easily wait.
Exactly. Building confidence doesn't happen overnight. It's like a muscle. Every time you enforce a small boundary, your confidence grows a little bit stronger. You realize that the world didn't end, nobody fired you, and your evening stayed peaceful and restorative.
Restorative. What a beautiful word. Having time that actually restores your mental energy so you can show up as a better, happier worker the next day.
It makes a huge difference in how you approach your whole day, really. When you know your evening belongs to you, you work with much more focus during office hours.
Absolutely. You stop procrastinating because you know there's a firm deadline at 6 p.m. It pushes you to manage your time better while you're actually at work.
So setting boundaries actually makes you a better employee during the day. Who would have thought it?
Exactly. It's a win-win situation for everyone involved, even if it feels uncomfortable at first.
That uncomfortable at first part is where most people get stuck, though, because that first time you hit ignore on a late call or reply with a polite boundary message, your anxiety spikes through the roof.
Oh, the guilty post-message panic. You send the message, flip your phone face down on the table, and stare at it like it's a ticking bomb.
Exactly. You sit there thinking, did that sound too cold? Was that aggressive? Are they typing an angry response right now? It takes so much self-control not to pick the phone back up and say, actually, never mind, I can look at it now.
That's called boundary anxiety, Leo, and it's completely normal, especially if you've spent years being a chronic people pleaser. When you start changing your behavior, your brain treats it like a threat.
Right, because for years your brain associated saying yes to everything with safety and approval. So when you break that pattern, your brain freaks out.
But here's the secret, Leo. Boundary anxiety is temporary, but burnout is long-term. The uncomfortable feeling only lasts.
When you put it like that, 15 minutes of feeling awkward is a fantastic trade-off.
It really is. And you know what else happens over time? People actually adapt to your boundaries faster than you think. Humans are quick learners. If Greg realizes you never answer work calls after 6 p.m., guess what he'll stop doing?
Calling after 6 p.m.
Exactly. He'll start reaching out to you at 4:30 p.m. instead, or he'll leave a clear email for you to read the next morning. You are essentially training people on how to work with you effectively.
That brings up another good target vocabulary phrase, setting expectations. When you join a new project or start working with a new team, setting expectations early makes everything smoother.
Yes, setting expectations means letting people know in advance what your availability looks like. For instance, putting a polite note in your email signature. My working hours are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Messages received after hours will be answered the next business day.
Oh, that is so professional. It's clean, clear, and leaves zero room for misinterpretation. Nobody can get offended because it's a standard rule applied to everyone, not just one person.
Precisely, it removes the personal tension. It's not I'm ignoring Greg, it's I'm following my established working schedule.
Let's talk about another common situation, though. What about those colleagues who keep pushing back? The ones who say things like, oh, come on, it will only take 2 minutes, or it's super easy, just take a quick look.
Ah, the classic 2-minute trap.
Yes, the 2-minute trap, because we all know a 2-minute call is never actually 2 minutes. It turns into a 30-minute debate about 5 other things you weren't even prepared to talk about.
Right, and even if the task itself only takes 2 minutes, the mental shift takes much longer. Once your mind switches back into work mode, your relaxation time for the evening is completely ruined.
Your brain stays active, processing work problems when you should be letting your nervous system calm down.
Exactly. So when someone hits you with, it'll only take 2 minutes, a great response is, if it's quick, then I'll be able to wrap it up in 5 minutes flat when I jump online at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Wow, Lily, you are a master at these responses. That's so polite, yet completely unshakable.
Practice makes perfect, Leo. I used to be the biggest people pleaser in the office. I used to answer emails while lying in bed at midnight.
No way. You, Lily, the queen of boundaries?
Absolutely. A few years ago, I thought being available every second made me indispensable, but all it did was make me exhausted, moody, and honestly less productive during my actual work hours because I was always running on low battery.
Running on low battery. That's such a relatable metaphor for language learners and professionals alike. If your phone battery is at 3%, you don't expect it to run heavy apps smoothly. You plug it into a charger.
Right. Rest is your charger. Taking time off the clock is how you recharge your battery so you can bring genuine energy and confidence back to your work the next morning.
It really loops back to confidence, doesn't it? Confidence isn't about raising your voice or being difficult. Confidence is quiet. It's knowing your worth and calmly maintaining your balance without feeling the need to over-explain yourself.
Quiet confidence. I love that term. You don't need a 10-minute speech explaining why you can't answer the phone. A simple, polite line is more than enough.
Let's recap a few of the key phrases we've used so far for our English learners tuning in right now. We talked about being off the clock, which means you are outside your paid working hours.
We also talked about urgent matters, things that actually require immediate action versus tasks that can wait. And we mentioned burning the candle at both ends, which means overworking yourself without getting proper rest.
And don't forget intentional, making choices on purpose rather than just reacting out of fear or habit.
These words and phrases aren't just useful for English exams or business meetings, guys. They're real expressions that native speakers use every day when navigating work relationships and personal wellness.
Now, Lily, what about setting boundaries in digital communication, like messaging apps, Slack, WhatsApp, Teams, or work emails on your personal phone? That's where boundaries get really blurry nowadays.
Oh, modern technology makes it so easy to carry the office in your pocket everywhere you go. You're at the grocery store buying vegetables and ding, a work notification pops up.
You're picking out tomatoes and suddenly worrying about third-quarter revenue reports.
Exactly. It completely pulls you out of the present moment.
So, what's your golden rule for handling work notifications on your phone after 6 p.m.?
Do not disturb mode, or better yet, remove work communication apps from your personal phone entirely if your job doesn't strictly require them on personal devices.
So, turn off notifications completely? Isn't that scary for most people?
It feels scary for the first 3 days, but once you realize that the world keeps spinning smoothly without you checking Slack at 8 p.m., it gives you a huge sense of relief and mental freedom.
That word freedom, that's really what we're all chasing when we talk about work-life balance, isn't it? Mental freedom. Not having that invisible weight on your shoulders while you're trying to enjoy dinner or hang out with your family.
Precisely, because true work-life balance isn't just about the number of hours you spend at your desk versus at home. It's about where your attention is. If you're physically sitting at the dinner table with your family, but mentally drafting a reply to a work email, you're not really present.
Oh, oof. Guilty as charged. I can't tell you how many times my friends have caught me staring blankly into space, and when they ask what I'm thinking about, I have to admit I was replaying a meeting in my head.
We've all been there. It's like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go, even into your living room. Setting those boundaries allows you to put the backpack down at 6 p.m. and pick it back up at 9 a.m.
But what about people who work in dynamic, fast-paced environments where managers expect quick replies? How do you start building confidence in a culture that rewards constant availability?
You start small, micro boundaries. You don't have to make a grand, dramatic announcement on Monday morning saying, "I am no longer answering calls." That might shock people and create unnecessary friction.
Right, that would sound a bit aggressive. So what does a micro boundary look like in real life?
A micro boundary is just a subtle shift in your response time. For example, if a non-urgent message comes in at 7 p.m., instead of replying in 2 minutes, wait until 8:30 a.m. the next morning to reply.
So you're quietly teaching people what to expect without making a big deal out of it.
Exactly. If you reply instantly at 7 p.m., you train them that you are active at 7 p.m. If you consistently reply at 8:30 a.m., you establish a natural pattern. Actions train people much faster than long explanations.
That is so clever. It's like subtle psychological conditioning.
It really is. People naturally adjust to the communication patterns you establish. If you are calm, steady, and consistent, they will respect your structure.
And what's interesting is that when you build this kind of boundary, your overall quality of work actually improves. You're rested, your mind is clear, and you make fewer mistakes during the day.
Yes, that's the irony of it all. Overworking doesn't equal better work. Most studies show that after a certain point, extra hours just lead to low-quality decisions and burnout. So taking care of yourself is actually a professional responsibility.
A professional responsibility. I love that perspective shift. You're not being lazy by logging off. You're preserving your energy so you can deliver your best work tomorrow.
Spot on. It's about being sustainable in your career. You want to build a career that you can stick to for 10, 20 years without destroying your mental or physical health along the way.
Speaking of sticking to things, let's talk about how to get back on track when you accidentally slip up. Because, let's be honest, there will be days where you give in and answer that late call and then feel guilty about it afterwards.
Oh, absolutely. Progress isn't a straight line. If you break your own rule on Tuesday and answer a late work call, don't beat yourself up or declare that your whole boundary experiment failed.
Right, just get back on track on Wednesday. Treat it as a learning experience rather than a personal failure.
Exactly. You just notice what happened, figure out why you felt pressured to answer, and adjust for next time. Self-compassion is a huge part of confidence building.
It really is. You have to be as kind to yourself as you would be to a friend who is trying something new.
Speaking of friends, Leo, how did Greg react after your cold soup experience yesterday? Did you end up saying anything to him today?
I actually did. When we had our morning catch-up at 9:30 a.m., I took a deep breath and used one of those phrases we talked about.
Ooh, tell me everything. What did you say?
I calmly said, "Hey Greg, glad we sorted out those numbers yesterday. Just as a quick note for future projects, after 6 p.m., I'm usually away from my laptop, but if anything ever comes up during office hours, I'm all yours."
Wow, Leo, that was textbook perfection. How did he take it?
He literally said, "Oh, totally makes sense, Leo. Sorry to bug you so late last night. I just wanted to get it off my mind before dinner."
See? All that panic, all that stress in your head for hours, and his reaction was completely normal and understanding.
It really opened my eyes. Most of the fear was in my own head, not in reality. Expressing your boundaries clearly actually builds mutual respect between colleagues.
It really does. People respect professionals who respect themselves and their time. It projects maturity and self-assurance.
Self-assurance. I love that word. It really comes down to trusting yourself enough to know that your value at work doesn't vanish the moment you close your laptop at 6 p.m.
Exactly. And to everyone listening today, if there's one thing we hope you take away from this conversation, it's that protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's essential. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful ways you can practice confidence every single day.
Absolutely. So today, try picking just one small boundary to set for yourself. Maybe turn off work notifications after hours, or practice saying a polite, "I'll handle this first thing tomorrow" when a late request comes in.
And remember, as you learn these new habits, be kind to yourself. Language learning, confidence building, and work-life balance all take time. Every small step counts, and every time you listen to a podcast like this, your English is growing stronger and more natural.
That's right. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on English Podcast for You. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend who might need a gentle reminder to log off today.
Let us know in the comments, what is one rule you set for yourself after 6 p.m.? We can't wait to read your responses.
Keep practicing, keep building that confidence, and take great care of yourselves.
Until next time, bye everyone!
Bye guys, see you in the next episode.